everybody! Hi, my name is Kristy. This is my 4th attempt at making this video, so hopefully I will get this right this time. I am an astrologer slash comedian in the New York City area, and I am going to be talking today about Mars retrograde. Because I think it's really important this month, and I'm recording this video on the 31st of January in order to kind of prep people for this month, mid-month after Valentine's Day. Mars is going to be doing some funky, cool, interesting stuff. So for those of you who are astrology lovers, this is very helpful. But for those of you who are new to astrology, I'm going to be talking a lot about the energy of our work ethic, sexual prowess, and all things related to Mars. Now, if you hear music in the background, that's because I'm working with my Mars right now as I make this video. I have a Mars in Capricorn, conjunct Neptune, conjunct my Sun did. Holy shit, that's a lot of conjunctions. So when I work with my Mars, I have to have like music on. My Mars is very like Capricornian, but also very ethereal. So when I'm talking about Mars, if you don't know where your Mars is, you're like, I know I have a sun sign in whatever your sign is. Mine's in Aries, for example. That's cool. Okay, so what do we know about Aries, the first sign in the zodiac? The first sign, Aries, is ruled by the planet Mars. Well, Mars is great. Who else do you rule? So we have Aries ruled by Mars, but we also have Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, which is important, very important, this year especially, because Mars himself is moving through Scorpio. And as I record this video today, I don't mean for you to look down my shirt, I'm just trying to figure out how to use camera angles. So you're going to see me looking off and things like that, because I'm using my iPad right now, and my friend's going to help me with better YouTube videos, but I felt like, let's see if I can figure this out. So let's just talk about Mars retrograde right now in this short little sort of snippet. Okay. Mars is going to be moving through Scorpio, and he is in Scorpio right now today on the 31st of January 2016 around, I think he's between 12 and 14 degrees Scorpio today. So he's like mid-Scorpio. He's almost on what we call the world axis, which is 15 degrees fixed sign, 0 degrees cardinal sign, and 29 degrees mutable sign. So the world axis is just a very strong point in a sign. It's where you kind of have a lot of power. And so I felt like it's a very important time to put out this video, especially now since the moon today is going to be going over that point. I think the moon is probably around that point right now. I think the moon, as I speak, is probably around 11 degrees Scorpio on that Mars, approaching the world axis, asking us, what do we want to do to use our Mars? So Mars, traditionally, if you're a dude, heterosexual dude, it's your sexual prowess, it's your work, like your work activities, your work ethic, career drive, it's your drive, it's your physical drive. It's like, you know, say you want to start a new workout routine. I'm going to keep moving this camera, I'm so sorry. Your workout routine, yes, I am like in a flexed position doing yoga as I like make this video. It's me using my Mars with unshaved armpits. That's sexy for YouTube, right? Let's see. It's the color red. I've got my red water bottle. I've got my red journal that I tear apart and write shit in all the time. And it's your drive. It's why is this important to you? You know, what is it that you want to do for your career? What is it that you want to do for your relationships? Scorpio Mars especially is saying, holy fuck, I want to be in a beautiful, harmonious, loving relationship that's spiritual, that brings me down the path of change, that brings me down the path of love. But at the same time, I've realized that I'm in these addictive relationships, or maybe you have a drug addiction or some kind of addiction. Mars in Scorpio is gonna be bringing that out this whole freaking year. Up until, so Mars enters the station point. What does that mean? It means it's the pinpoint degree for which Mars is gonna go forward into the new sign, or through that sign, and then as soon as Mars hits the retrograde point, is gonna go all the way back to that point of station. Same for any type of retrograde. Most people are familiar with Mercury retrograde, which just went direct. Mercury retrograde was from, let's see, January 5th until January 25th, and then came out of retrograde on the 25th, and is not really clearing that amorphous sort of blob until Valentine's Day. So for a lot of people, Valentine's Day might be like a very beautiful day of coming clear on specific things. I think a lot of it this year is career. Because Mercury, we started out our year in 2016 with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Capricorn, the traditional sign of career, work, get that career going, become that CEO, become that boss, make that money, do that, you know. And then was conjunct Mercury, the voice, was communication, the voice, cars, internet, communication, I said that, communications, neighbors, contracts, was conjunct, meaning right there at the same degree as Pluto, the planet or dwarf star. However, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson says it's not a planet, it's not a planet. But I work with Pluto energy, so, and Scorpio's Pluto energy too. Do not forget that, because there is going to be a lot of manipulation coming around too with this Mars retrograde. That is why I'm talking about this, because Pluto and Mercury started out our year with a nice, beautiful new moon that took out a lot of musicians. Think about it. David Bowie, a bunch of people died. Dude, Joe Cocker just fucking died. That kind of energy is like the idea of what's going on. Things are dying in order for a new crop to come through. But what dies is during the barrenness. And who's the most barren? Sorry, Capricorns, but your sign is that earth that's hard to get through. It's that dry, cold-hearted, Saturnic energy that began our year in 2016. Is just a lot of cold, hard to get through energy. I'm working out my Mars here. And now we got Mars retrograde, which is like, okay, so now I have this extremely deeply feeling sign that doesn't really talk that much. Scorpio is one of the quietest signs. Most of the water signs are quiet. You can hear my music in the background, but Scorpio is a particular kind of quiet. Scorpio is the kind of quiet that sits back, sees the world, sees everything for what it is, and then knows what to do, and is a very, manipulates a situation for their own benefit. Not bad. Not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that this Mars energy is a lot of past life, past love. You could have an old ex come back and be like, I have been madly in love with you for 8 years, and I just couldn't get past this point of contacting you, and now I'm here to tell you that, you know, I changed my career and my life, and I got over my addiction, and I did all this stuff, but you've always been in the back of my mind. And then that could be the energy that's coming in. Or you decide to quit your career in some kind of you know, whatever venue you were in, and completely transform and become something else. Because it's asking you to really get rid of bullshit, transform, and become the phoenix rising. Because you have the pyramid, the triangle. This is like an Illuminati symbol, but that is also true. Conspiracy theories, Illuminati, all that stuff is Scorpio energy, and Mars is the impetus for that. So if there's a lot of stories about dying mafia, that's this energy coming up. There's nothing more mafioso than the music industry. Let's just think about that. Stop and think. And David Bowie, for example, this is just an example, had a lot of fixed energy in his chart, but also his sun, I believe, was on that new moon. So that took him out. And normally a new moon is one that grows and brings in life. But this new moon in particular, in January, was actually a death moon, because it was with Pluto. And then the full moon, which is usually an energy of releasing and dying, mostly people die on the new full moons, was actually in Leo, which is the heart processing, which was bringing in sort of a new light. And for us in New York and on the East Coast, there was a giant snowstorm on the full moon, and a lot of people were kind of stuck in their houses. I was definitely stuck in my apartment, and just really processing. It was forcing us to process things. And for me, it was a big heart processing day. And so for this Mars energy, it's kind of also reflecting that. Mars was really much set up. Mars is being set up right now to work with us in the spring. February 17th is when Mars stations at 23 degrees Scorpio. This is the point that the retrograde is going to come back to. So Mars is going to go forward, starting on, Mars is going forward, but on that point, on February 17th, Mars is going to hit 23 degrees Scorpio. Move all the way to Sagittarius and hit the retrograde point on April 17th. So you see that you have like a giant span of time, and there's going to be stories coming in and out. And for many people, it may have started in December, probably around December 19th. Because I'm tying in this Mercury retrograde that started in December, brought in something, and then Mars comes in to make it an action. So say a contract was signed, Mars came in, was like, okay, let's propel this. And then around April 17th, Mars goes, so you've been working with this shit? Let's go back. Let's talk. Mars makes it to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the philosopher. Sagittarius is the poet, the university, the student. Goes retrograde. Mars is like, oh, I've philosophized this, I am going back now into Scorpio. And so April 17th until June 29th, you're working with 8 degrees Sagittarius, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 Sagittarius, all the way back through Scorpio to 23 degrees Scorpio. That started in February. I know, it's a long story. and it ends on June 29th, meaning Scorpio, Mars,